Hola. Today we're going to talk about the present progressive in Spanish. In Spanish, the question is, ¿Qué estás haciendo? In English, what are you doing? We're going to use the verb hacer, which means to do, and we're going to ask, what are you doing? So, ¿Qué estás haciendo? Before we talk about that specifically, let's talk about what the present progressive is. The present progressive is what is happening today, at the moment, or right now in the present. In Spanish, you would say ahora mismo. In English, right now. So we're going to talk about activities that are ongoing right now. In Spanish, the present progressive has two parts, similar to English. You're going to use a form of the verb estar. Estoy, estás, está, estamos, están. And then you're going to add a second verb to that. And the ending on that verb is going to be ando if it's an AR verb, and it will be yendo if it's an ER or an IR verb. So let's look more precisely at this. For example, if you want to say I am walking, you need to choose the form of the verb that means I am, which is estoy. And then you're going to use the verb caminar, which is to walk. But you have to take off the AR, so you're left with the stem, CAMIN, and then you're going to add ando to that because it's an AR verb. And you will end up with the phrase estoy caminando. I am walking. Here's another example. You are eating. In Spanish, you are is estás. The verb for eat or to eat is comer. Take off the ending, you're left with the stem, and since this is an ER verb, you're going to add yendo to the verb, so you end up with the sentence estás comiendo. You are eating. Estás comiendo. Here's an example with an IR verb. Remember, there are three classifications of verbs in Spanish: AR, ER, and IR. So this is an IR verb. Estamos would be we are, and to live in Spanish is vivir. It's an IR verb. We're going to take off the IR. We'll be left with the stem, VIV. And since it's an IR verb, we're going to add yendo to it. Estamos viviendo. We are living. Estamos viviendo. Here's another one. She is reading. In Spanish, to say she is, you would use the form of the verb está. And the verb for to read is leer. So you take off the ER. The stem is really short. It's LE. And then you're going to add the ending, yendo, because it's an ER verb. And you would end up with está leyendo. However, in Spanish, if you end up with three vowels in a row, like E, I, E, you need to change the center vowel to a Y. So you will have leyendo. So did you see how the I changed to a Y? Let's go back. Originally, está leyendo turns to leyendo. Está leyendo. That happens with any verb that happens to have a double E in the infinitive form. So, another note. In English, you never leave out the verb to be. You would say he's eating or he is eating. You would never say he eating. You would say they are running, not they running. You need to have the form of the verb to be, is, am, or are. Same thing in Spanish. You can't leave out the verb estar. Yo estoy comiendo. You cannot say yo comiendo. Ellos están corriendo. They are running, not ellos corriendo. Those would not be correct grammatically. You need to have the verb estar as part of this particular present progressive tense. So let's do a few more. He is running. Pause the video if you want to write down your answer. You're going to use a form of the verb estar for he is. está, the verb correr, which is run, plus yendo. Don't forget to take off the ER. Está corriendo. We are talking. We are is estamos. To talk is hablar. And since it's an AR verb, we're going to use the ending ando. Take off the AR. Estamos hablando. They are dancing. They are in Spanish would be están. To dance is bailar. It's an AR verb, so we'll add ando. Take off the AR. Write down your answer. Están bailando. Good. Están bailando. Here's another note. In English, you can use the present progressive to speak about an action in process and a future action. I am working tomorrow in the future. In Spanish, you can only use the present progressive for right now. So you can't say, use this form to talk about what you will be doing later or tomorrow. You only can use it to talk about what is happening right now. Okay, so let's do some more practice. On your piece of paper, write out how you would change this verb to make it a present progressive form. Your subject is Luis y yo. So remember the first part of this verb is a form of the verb estar, and that would agree with the subject. So that would be estamos. And our second verb is caminar. It's an AR verb. Since it's an AR verb, you're going to add ando to the end of it. Take off the AR and you will end up with caminando en el parque. Luis y yo estamos caminando en el parque. Ellos and the verb comer. So you want to say they are eating in the dining room. The verb form of estar that goes with ellos would be están. And if your verb is comer, you'll take off the ER and you'll add yendo to the end of it. So your answer would be ellos están comiendo en el comedor. Did you notice that the word comiendo and comedor look really similar? They're basically in the same family. Eating and comedor, the place that you eat, the dining room, are part of the same family of the verb or the noun comer. They are eating in the dining room. Mi mamá is the subject. So first we're going to need a form of the verb estar. Mi mamá is most like ella, so we'll use the third person singular form of the verb está. Cocinar means to cook. Look at that. Cocinar, cocina. Cocina is the word for kitchen. Cocinar, to cook. So to cook in the cooking room, right? So in order to make this present progressive, you're going to have to take off the AR on the verb cocinar and add ando to it because it's an AR verb. So you will get cocinando. Mi mamá está cocinando en la cocina. My mom is cooking in the kitchen. El chico, descansar. You want to say the boy is resting in the bedroom. El chico, the verb form for the verb estar would be está. Descansar is an AR verb, so you take off the AR and add the ending ando to it. So el chico está descansando en el dormitorio. The boy is resting in the bedroom. Mi familia, mi familia. we want to say that my family is watching the television in the living room. This is a little bit tricky. When your subject is mi familia, even though we know that a family is by definition more than two people or two or more people, mi familia is still a singular subject. So mi familia would use a singular subject form of the verb. So you would use está. Mi familia está. And then you want to take the verb mirar, take off the AR, and since it's an AR verb, you will add ando. Mi familia está mirando la televisión en la sala. My family is watching television in the living room. So just to wrap this up, remember to do the present progressive. You're going to use a form of the verb estar, and then whatever verb you're using, if it's an AR verb, you'll drop the AR and replace it with the ending ando. If it's either an ER or an IR verb, you will drop the ER or the IR and replace it with the ending yendo. That will make the present progressive to say what you're doing at the time. Adios.